John Solomon, investigative reporter Sara, Fox News legal analyst Gregg Jarrett is with us. John, let's start with your story. We have so much ground to cover. This is massive. This distinction is massive. Give us what you got.
Yeah, I think you just think back. If in June of last year, July of last year, the FBI director had accused her of being grossly negligent, what impact that would have had on the election, what impact it would have had on the legal debate about what we thought the FBI knew. They thought she was careless. Now we find out she was grossly negligent. That was the term that was in the statute, and it is surprising that it got edited out. And the questions for Congress are going to be, who did they talk to before they edited it out? Who recommended editing it out? And why did they do it? And I think we're going to get those answers in the next couple of weeks.
All right, let me go to Gregg Jarrett, legal analyst. Okay, when Comey deletes the specific legal term gross negligence, and he decides, before he does the investigation, concludes he's going to exonerate her.
Right.
This is being done before he ever interviews her or the other witnesses.
I've never heard of it. I've been a lawyer.
Well, that's called a fixes in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been a lawyer for 37 years. I've never heard of a prosecutor exonerating somebody 2 months in advance before interviewing her and the key witnesses. When you cross out gross negligence and insert extremely careless, that's pretty incriminating evidence that Comey or others may have been obstructing justice. They were trying to interfere with the due administration of justice, and they were stupid in the way they did it because gross negligence is extremely careless behavior. In fact, when jurors struggle with that, the judge gives them a standard jury instruction. Here's California's, for example. Gross negligence is an extreme departure from ordinary care. In other words, extremely careless behavior. So it tells me Comey, in addition to attempting to obstruct justice, perhaps, doesn't know a damn thing about the law.
Scary, but no. When the fix is in, it's corruption. When you have a conclusion before an investigation, the fix was in. Let me go through this a little bit with Sara Carter. So she rigs the primary election. And Democrats are trying to tell us, oh, that's not a big deal. Then she tried to fix the general election by paying for Russian bought and paid propaganda, lying about Donald Trump. And then it gets even bigger than that. Then we've got, the fix with Comey, as we were just talking about. Then the fix with Loretta Lynch on the tarmac. Is there anything the Clintons don't fix or try to fix?
Well, over the last year, the Democrats have been pointing their finger at the Trump campaign, and at President Trump, that he had to fix in with Russia. But all the evidence, Sean, points to the Democrats and Russia. And this is beyond partisan, because what John showed in this story with this removal of gross negligence was something that the FBI, agents within the FBI, since last July, when Comey made this statement, they were up in arms. People within the FBI, former FBI agents, they were so frustrated. They didn't understand what was going on here. One thing they did understand was that there was some kind of fix, and they wanted to figure out, why did Comey do this? And now we see there's a little bit more evidence shedding light onto this.
All right, John, let's go back to your reporting. Let's go back to what you have. You actually updated your column from earlier today. Why don't we give everybody the latest news?
Yeah, it wasn't just a single time that they mentioned this term. They went in
gross negligence.
Gross negligence. They were in and they said, listen, one of the things that strikes us is there were lots of secret information that passed through that pattern, that constant being able to put that into the emails really concerned them as evidence of what was going on here. And I think it wasn't an accidental term that was thrown in there. It was thought through early on in May, and by June, somehow that term drops out of the statement. It's very surprising, and I think people are going to ask a lot of questions.
What about the whole email issue?
Right.
That we're now understanding more. If I deleted 33,000 emails,
right,
if I destroyed my hard drives, if I busted up my BlackBerries, what would happen? Would I be calling you from jail?
You'd be charged with obstruction of justice, a violation of the Federal Records Act, and the Public Officers Law. Those are 3 criminal statutes that have serious penalties. When you receive a congressional subpoena, on your documents, you are instructed to preserve and produce them. She chose to do neither one of them. She destroyed 33,000 of them, and it is inconceivable to me that she wasn't charged.
Last question. I've got to update the audience, Sara, on Uranium One. Now, every day, every week, this keeps growing as well. The fact that that Mueller and Eric Holder knew about bribery, extortion, kickbacks, money laundering, racketeering in 2009. How do they get to investigate? How does Mueller investigate anything Russia? Shouldn't he be investigated? Shouldn't everyone involved in that deal be investigated?
I certainly know from talking to sources, Sean, I don't think it's going to be Mueller, and I don't think it's going to be Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. And I know now that Attorney General Jeff Sessions did not recuse himself from the Uranium One investigation.
That's huge.
So, it is huge. It is huge. And it's, you know, despite the fact that we've seen reports out there that they said he did not. So I believe right now there is an ongoing investigation into this. I do believe that a special counsel will be announced. We're not certain yet, but this is where the direction it's going in. And we just have to remain patient and wait and see.
All right. You guys have done amazing work. We're like unpeeling the layers of an onion. And here's what I can tell everybody in the media that's so lame. Tick-tock. There's so much more coming.